So, one of my favorite movies of all times is The Incredibles. Not just favorite Pixar movie, favorite superhero movie, animated movie, and movie in general. Although I would say it's hard for me to decide between The Incredibles and Monsters, Inc., as Boo is my favorite Pixar character, and I'm pretty sure her cuteness is responsible for at least 2 of my 3 children. But that's a topic for another day. So before this incredible movie gets a sequel, I want to speculate on Edna Mode's wall sculpture thingy. I'm not fancy. I have no idea what a mural carving like this is called, so don't judge me. But you see those symbols etched into the wall? They bug me so much! And before anyone takes to the comments to complain that no one thought this hard about a movie, remember that this is an animated movie. If it was a live-action movie filmed on location at a real place, then you could get away with saying that this is just something in the background that already existed and doesn't mean anything. But this animation was all handcrafted, first through concept artists, then they probably made models, then it went through 3D artists that created every light fixture, every crack in the wall, everything. Hundreds of people have worked on the designs in every single room, and the director has to okay everything in the end, meaning there's no way that no one noticed or cared about this ancient alphabet scribbled hastily into Edna's wall. Now, I have tried and tried to translate these characters. I even asked for help on Reddit, but really didn't find any. I was a Greek in college, so I'm very familiar with the Grecian alphabet, and that seemed to go along with the Medusa theme on Edna's wall, but no luck! Then I attempted looking at Roman, Old Norse, and many other languages, and while I'd find a matching symbol here or there, no language offered me a complete match. I even tried looking at the characters in different directions and still couldn't find a single known language that matched every character. Yet I know this is something because just look at Edna's wall. The only other text we can see appears to be Roman numerals, and they're all very neatly chiseled into the stone. But this text above the door honestly looks like gazer beams scribed it into the wall. And that's when things clicked into place. Okay, so Edna Mode is a world-famous designer who undoubtedly makes millions. I'm not arguing that she's not rich by her own merit, but I've been on the Hollywood tours and seen real designers' houses. This doesn't compare. Plus, isn't this house a little over the top for a designer? I mean, Bob pulls up and there's this whole electric security gate, and that kind of thing I guess is common enough among rich houses, but Edna has an electric fence, which means it's not designed to keep tourists from knocking at her front door. It's designed for safety reasons. And her home is a gigantic compound complete with ridiculous levels of other security measures. Why in the world would Edna need turrets guarding her workspace? I know superheroes have their secret identities and all, but it's no secret that Edna designed for them. She already has the suits set up like armor in her hallways, which is really odd because she claims to never look back. It distracts from the now. Then it hit me. Edna is one of the most valuable assets in all of superherodom because she literally knows every super's daily identity. Seriously, someone just sitting outside of her house with a camera could figure out who was who back in the day. Now, true enough, Edna doesn't recognize every name off the top of her head, but she certainly recognizes faces with no problem. And even though Edna is excited to make Mr. Incredible's new suit, calling it a challenge, I'm 99% certain that Mr. Incredible didn't pay her. Okay, maybe he did in a scene we weren't shown, but look at what happens when Helen comes to visit.
Hey, it's great to see you, but I gotta tell you, I have no idea what you're talking about.
She has no idea what Edna's talking about, and Edna herself says,
I did Robert's suit, and it turned out so beautiful, I had to continue.
So obviously Bob didn't know that, or he would have frantically tried to stop Edna because he didn't want his family to know what he was doing, meaning Edna isn't getting paid to make these suits. Now, based on what I broke down in my last Incredibles video, back in the day, the government probably covered the expense of the suits, just like they pay for the superheroes' relocations. But again, that's off the table for this scenario because the government doesn't know what Bob is up to either. Also take note that that we hear the entire conversation between Bob and Edna, and it's all to the point about superhero fashion with almost no pleasantries. Why is that important? Oh, well, because when Helen shows up later, Edna somehow knows all of her family's intimate details. She knows how many kids they have, what their secret powers are. Who told her this? Obviously, Edna was not in touch with the Parr family during their relocations because she tells Bob,
"Oh my God, you've gotten fat. Come in, come.
And he's been large for a while, at least since Jack was born, meaning Edna shouldn't know anything about the Parr kids. And Bob isn't stupid. He knows supers are illegal, so he's not going to go chatting about his kids' powers. Yet, Edna inexplicably knows everything about the kids, except for their names. Instead, Edna refers to them as the baby, your son, and your daughter, which also proves that Edna doesn't have a direct familiarity with Violet, Dash, and Jack. So again, why would she know their powers and even have a model on hand that can vanish like Violet? You guys, I am convinced that Edna Mode is a double agent. She is a former government worker or contractor who used to design cutting-edge hero suits for, as she calls them,
Gods.
Then all of that got taken away from her, and she's still fairly bitter about it all. In fact, would she be bitter enough to be an ally to someone like Syndrome? Think about it. Edna's designer room looks like a villainous torture chamber, and all of the security outside of it? I mean, is she trying to keep people out or keep supers in? Granted, we don't see any signs of prisoners in that room, but let's also consider that Syndrome spent years killing off supers with his machines. How did he know who all the supers were in real life? I know we see Mirage spying on people, but there's no way they could have randomly narrowed down who were ex-heroes out of the billions of people on the planet. I'm sure a few were obvious, but Syndrome tracked down almost all of them and wiped them out. We're talking Logan levels of eradication here, meaning someone on the inside had to be feeding Syndrome information that gave Mirage leads on who to watch. And the person who makes the most sense for this position is Edna Mode, or Edna the Mole. She knew every super's identity, powers, and weaknesses, plus she had a beef with the government, and she was upset that she couldn't do the work she loved any longer. Edna's a prime candidate to snap and either take revenge, or stir up her creative juices by pushing the heroes back out of the closet. Watch it for yourself. Edna doesn't even seem surprised to see Bob, and she immediately suspects that he needs a new suit. So who's to say he's the first super that came back to her after getting an offer from Syndrome? Her workspace didn't look dated or dusty or decrepit, did it? And surely some of those heroes would want new suits before they took on a new mission. I'd even bet that some of the supers threw their old suits out completely when they got banned from public service. And as far as the sloppy writing in Edna's wall, I feel in my core that this came from a super being panicked or otherwise restrained in Edna's house. And based purely on speculation and the sheer number of characters involved, I think that super tried to write Kronos, or even one of his alternate names, Cronus or Saturn, in the wall, just like Gazer Beam blasted into the rock when he knew he was about to die. If anyone can translate those characters, I'd love to know what they actually say, but unfortunately that part hasn't fully unraveled despite my best attempt. But Edna, I'm on to you. You are up to something. It might not be reality, but theories are more fun. Well, that's all I have for now, but this video's not quite over yet. I get a lot of comments that say, do a theory on this topic, but I've already done those theories. So please consider going to my main channel page and clicking on the video tab so that way you can see everything I've done. You will probably find a lot of things you like that you never even knew that I posted. I want to let you know that I also have two other channels, Say Halo Goodbye Gaming and the Fanily Family Vlogs. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed enough to hit subscribe and share. I can use all the help I can get to let other people know that this channel exists. And if you made it this far, leave me a comment that says something like, hey, I made it to the end, and then let me know what kind of videos you want to see in the future. I can't make any promises, but the more people that request something, the more I can look into it. Okay, well, I love you. I'll see you in the next video.